Let's do the AFC South potential cap cuts here, folks, and we'll check in with one Brian Cushing, linebacker for the Texans.
He gone. He is not coming back to the Houston Texans. He has a $8.8 million cap hit, 7.6 of which can be saved, and this is a guy that would be a backup if he did come back. So at that point, you're not going to keep him. With Cushing, the suspension again reared its ugly head because he likes to use PEDs. Brian Cushing will not be back with the Houston Texans, and frankly, Cam, he might not be back in the NFL next year. I think Cushing is very much at the end of his career. He's not the same player he once was, doesn't have the same athleticism. I don't see Cushing back in Houston. He might not be back at all.
Quality career, though, no doubt.
Yeah, or especially early on, but you kind of want to, if you want to stereotype the guys who are probably steroid users, Cushing kind of had that profile early in his NFL
Falls
career.
into that fold.
And the suspensions have kind of proved that true as well.
All right, so Brian Cushing, a potential salary cap casualty from the Houston Texans. Let's go to the Colts now. John Simon, linebacker here, and we'll preface this discussion here, Tom, with the fact that the Colts have a lot of cap space.
Yeah, they don't really need to cut anyone, but guys like John Simon, even Jabal Sheard, I think can be cut. I think with Simon in particular, he might be a post-draft cut. He might be the type of guy that the Colts keep on the roster, and then if they draft someone like Bradley Chubb, then you see them make the change, say, okay, Simon, thank you, go somewhere else. He wasn't bad, and his contract's not that bad either, but you can save all of his contract. Like, at that point, he becomes a prime cut candidate. Try to get one from each team in this segment here. Simon makes the most sense for the Indianapolis Colts. There's a very good chance he ends up getting cut at some point this offseason.
Okay, so there he is at the linebacker position. Let's go to Jacksonville. Chris Ivory, a potential cap cut there.
He is also gone. Yeah. Chris Ivory will not be back with the Jaguars. A nearly $7 million cap hit for really what was the third string halfback for the Jaguars down the stretch. The Jags can save a ton of his contract by cutting him. With Fournette on the roster, there's just no reason to keep Chris Ivory at that massive cap hit. Now, they might try and make him a post-June 1st cut to save the money more long-term because they can cut another guy to save even more money here in a little bit. But with Chris Ivory, I don't see any scenario in which he's back in Jacksonville at his current cap hit. There's just no way. It makes zero sense.
With TJ Yeldon and Leonard Fournette, it's clear those two guys are the core of the backfield for the Jacksonville Jaguars. That price tag for Chris Ivory just way too much. And look, he was barely used. Look at the numbers right there. Yeah. And the yards per carry average, by the way, disgustingly bad. So Chris Ivory potentially gone from the Jacksonville Jaguars. How about this guy, Blake Bortles?
People have tried to recently sell me on the idea that Blake Bortles is doable. And I'm like, but why? Why would you want to keep Blake Bortles as your quarterback? Like, yeah, the Jaguars won a lot of games, but like, it's not that Blake Bortles won them. It's having an incredible defense and having a really good ground game. Like, Blake Bortles' numbers this year were not good. Barely completed 60%, had not even a 2-to-1 TD-interception ratio, and his cap hit is $19 million. Like, if I'm the Jags, I am very open to saying, all right, we'll keep Blake if we have to, but let's go out and try and sign Kirk Cousins. Let's try and trade for Alex Smith. They're upgrades over Blake Bortles. We can roll that $19 million from Bortles into that contract for a guy like Alex Smith. Almost matches up perfectly. Give it to Kirk Cousins, and we're a much better team off because of it, because defenses won't be as willing to say, hey, Blake, just try to beat us. We dare you.
Well, let's face it, Tom. I mean, the Jaguars played all of this season, and by the way, credit to them for making it to the AFC Championship game, but they played it with a very thin margin for error in the passing attack.
Everything you need to know about Jacksonville and their trust in Blake Bortles was set up when they kneeled the ball with 55 seconds left and 2 timeouts.
There you go.
They have zero trust in Blake Bortles, and frankly, I don't blame them. Like, Bortles is just not that good. He's not a starting quarterback. Look, there are worse starting quarterbacks, but if I'm Jacksonville and I'm going, hey, we're trying to win right now, you're not going to win with Blake Bortles. We saw them play almost a flawless game against the Patriots. Wasn't enough with Blake Bortles. They got to go elsewhere, be it the draft, or go out and get an Alex with the Kirk Cousins, someone along those lines. Bortles is not the answer for Jacksonville. You can save all of his $19 million cap hit. Just let him go.
All right, so Blake Bortles could be cut from the Jacksonville Jaguars. How about this guy, too, from the Tennessee Titans, DeMarco Murray, running back there. Look, Derrick Henry, he could be the guy now.
Henry is the guy going forward, and I like DeMarco Murray, but he's constantly hurt this year. He wasn't that good. Derrick Henry, frankly, looked better when he had the ball in his hands. You can save $6.5 million. That's a lot for a halfback. You can use that somewhere else if you're Tennessee. You say, DeMarco, thank you for your time. Best of luck. Give him a nice firm handshake and send him out the door.
Is that a career, by the way?
I don't think he's done.
Okay.
He can get a spot somewhere in the NFL. I don't know if he's going to be a true number one focal point back. Maybe he still wants to be that. He'll get a shot somewhere, I think, as a rotation, but I don't want to trust DeMarco Murray to get the ball 200 plus times anywhere. That's just not who he is. I don't think at this point in his career that's not who you want him to be anyway.